The three gentlemen, the Senate President is recognized.
With the permission of gentlemen, because this will be an interjection, just not really to join the conundrum, but Mr. President, I ask a question. Yung ban China, meron silang coordinates? Yung 9-dash line nila?
Wala.
Wala eh. Tayo nga may baseline eh. May baseline, 10-dash line na. Oh, may coordinates ba? Wala eh. Tayo nga may baseline survey law eh. Sila wala eh. Kung ano angkinin kanila eh. So, I want to find out where are the coordinates of China in the West Philippine Sea.
Mr. President, may I request that pakiano nyo ngayong number 3.
Mr. President, while we're doing some administrative matters, just for the record, because earlier our data or our assertion that about 500,000 square kilometers of our exclusive economic zone and territorial sea and sovereign waters is being claimed. This was a lecture by retired Supreme Court Justice Carpio in his paper, West Philippine Sea Lecture, in the Philippine Social Science Council. Hosted it February 2016, and I quote his, for the Philippines, what is at stake in the South China Sea are, number one, about 80% of its EEZ, comprising 381,000 square kilometers of maritime space, including the entire Reed Bank and part of the Malampaya gas field, and number two, 100% of its exclusive continental shelf, estimated at over 150,000 square kilometers of maritime space. Either the Philippines keeps this, and I quote, maritime entitlements, or we lose them to China, according to the retired justice. And he added, effectively, China's 9-dash line claim encroaches on over 531,000 square kilometers of Philippine EEZ and continental shelf, including all the fishery, oil, gas, and mineral resources found within this vast area, which is larger than the total land area of the Philippines. This Chinese aggression, according to Chief former Justice Carpio, is the gravest external threat to the Philippines since World War II.
Mr. President, ang binanggit niya kanina ay pinagsama-sama po niya yung exclusive economic zone at saka yung continental shelf. Talaga po nga abot kayo ng 500,000 square kilometers. Ang pinag-uusapan po natin, exclusive economic zone lang. Kaya po tayo nakukumpyos. Kanina po tinatanong kung merong coordinates ang China. Ayan po yung mapa ng China. Makikita po ninyo yung 6.1. Kapag yan po ay tiningnan ninyo at pinag-aralan po ninyo yan po ay nakatala doon sa International Hieroglyphics Organization or S23. Lahat po ng coordinates nandyan. Kaya nga po pinoproblema natin, hanggang ngayon, wala pa po tayong ganyan. Sana man lang yung West Philippine Sea, kapag ka lahat po ng kailangan ng United Nations, kasi bago po tayo makapagpatala ng ating sariling pangalan ng dagat, katulad ng West Philippine Sea, hindi lamang po declaration ang kailangan natin eh. Nagdi-declare tayo ng 200 nautical miles. Hindi naman po tayo nagdi-deposit ng mapa na may coordinates doon sa United Nations. Wala pong mangyayari. Yun po yung proseso eh. Tingnan po ninyo yan. 6.1, yan po yung South China Sea. Hindi po ninyo makikita ang West Philippine Sea. Kaya po tayo nagtatalo dahil yung ating West Philippine Sea, kailanman hindi mag-a-appear dyan hanggat hindi po nagagawa ni Commodore Tariela yung dapat niyang gawin. Imbes na gawa na siya ng gawa ng caricature, dapat mag-submit na siya nung mga coordinates na kailangan po para ngayon makapagpatala tayo ng sarili nating pangalan ng dagat. Ito nga po kaya ako kahit napakahirap, ay gusto nating pag-aralang mabuti kasi dito po nagkakaroon ng hindi pagkakaunawaan. Akala natin may nangunguha ng saangganang atin, samantalang yung saganang atin, hindi pa naman natin alam kung hanggang saan ba siya. Ang maganda sana, yung talagang exact coordinates, makukuha natin. Pero paano po natin magagawa, Mr. President? Ino-occupy natin, for example, yung munisipyo ng Pag-asa. Labas yun sa ating exclusive economic zone. Paano natin guguhitan yun halimbawa? Labas sa ating exclusive economic zone, samantalang yung Pag-asa, nandun na sa high seas. Hindi po pwede mangyayari, Mr. President, because that is violative of the UNCLOS. Hindi po tayo pwedeng tumahak sa high seas. At magliliprag po siya from the exclusive economic zone para enclose niya lamang, for example, yung parola, yung T2, yung sinabi nating 4 kanina na bahagi na inoccupy ng ating bansa, ngunit labas po ng exclusive economic zone. Paano ngayon yun? Eh di kapag ka sinabi natin, we were awarded our exclusive economic zone, o umalis na po tayo doon sa mga features na inoccupy natin ngayon, simply because they are not enclosed by the West Philippine Sea na binabanggit natin. Kaya po ako nagsisimula dyan, Mr. President. Hindi po totoo na como sinabi ng arbitral award. Wala yung 9 dash line mo, China. Totoo naman yun eh. Because China was unable to prove by historic rights na talagang nasakop niya through the 9 dash line. Pero maliban doon, walang ginawa yung arbitral award eh. The arbitral tribunal did not adjudicate yung pamumosisyon nila sa mga features. Hindi naman niya sinabi, China, umalis ka na dyan sa mga inoccupy mong features. Meron ba siya sinabing gano'n? Wala po. And China continues to occupy those features. Meron din tayo. Meron din ang Vietnam. Kaya po disputed ngayon eh. Kahit na po in-award ang West Philippine Sea o yung ating exclusive economic zone, it's still a disputable waters. Dahil nga, wala pa tayong coordinates na isasubmit na nire-require po sa atin. This is the whole point, Mr. President.
Yes. If we may be allowed. Mr. President, gaya ng nabanggit kanina ng ating mga kasamahan, noong 2024 na ipasa yung RA 12064 nga at doon mismo dinebate Section 14, other maritime jurisdictions, the Philippines shall exercise all other maritime rights and jurisdictions in accordance with the UNCLOS, the South China Sea Arbitration, case number 2013-19, international law and other pertinent and regulations of the Philippines. Mr. President, we beg to disagree that the coordinates are not clear, that we have not been able to determine it. We have by law, we have by administrative order, and we have by the arbitral ruling. All these should suffice, Mr. President, for us to assert that China is illegally occupying parts of our exclusive economic zone and is claiming likewise 150,000 square kilometers of our continental shelf and 381,000 square kilometers of our EEZ. I mean, that should suffice for this, at least for this resolution to be passed. For the resolution that we are now tackling be adopted, Mr. President.
Mr. President,
In addition, Mr.
unfortunately-
President, if I may, the Kalayaan Group of Islands is Kalayaan is a municipality of Palawan.
Pag-asa is a barangay.
Yes. And therefore, the exclusive economic zone as defined in UNCLOS provides that it is a sea area extending up to 200 nautical miles from a coastal state's baseline. So the baseline would be the Kalayaan group and 200 nautical miles from the Kalayaan Group. So I do not see how the Kalayaan Islands is outside of our exclusive economic zone. I beg to disagree, Mr. President.
Just for the record, no, Pag-asa Island is a barangay of the Kalayaan Island Group under the province of Palawan.
Yes. And it is 445 kilometers away from Puerto Princesa.
Mr. President, the problem is under Section 2 of Republic Act 12064, which defines the West Philippine Sea as follows. The maritime zones of the Philippines on the western side of the Philippine archipelago, including the Luzon Sea and the territorial seas of Bajo de Masinloc and the maritime features of the Kalayaan Island Group, shall be collectively called the West Philippine Sea. What is the problem there, Mr. President? Yun nga po kasing Pag-asa Island at saka yung Parola Island, nakasama po ng KIG, ay labas po doon sa West Philippine Sea. At ito po ay blurred by the high seas that separate them from the rest of the Kalayaan Island Group. So let me show, pwede bang pakita yung isa pang mapa? Map number 1.
Uulitin.
Ayan po, Mr. President, this is a map produced by the US-funded think tank called National Bureau of Asian Research. Dito sa mapang ito po, the area that is shaded in deep yellow is the Philippine Territorial Sea, while the area shaded in light yellow is the Philippine Exclusive Economic Zone and Continental Shelf. The area shaded in blue is the high seas. On the map are small features around which circles have been drawn. Some features are inside the Philippine Exclusive Economic Zone, while others are in the high seas. The circles drawn around these features are the enclave territorial seas. The features and circles are in different colors to represent the state occupying them. The features occupied by the Philippines are in yellow. Diyan po makikita ninyo, Mr. President, meron po tayong occupied na features na talagang labas nga sa, kagaya ng binanggit natin kanina, labas sa ating exclusive economic zone. There are 4 features in yellow that are occupied by the Philippines but are in the high seas. Other features that are occupied by China and Vietnam that are in the high seas but they are also being claimed by the Philippines. Given this situation, how can we draw the metes and bounds of the Philippine West, the West Philippine Sea? Ito yung tinatanong ko kanina, kung gusto natin pong isama yung mga features which are outliers, meaning to say they are lying outside the exclusive economic zone, paano po tayong papayagan na gawin yun? May encroach po natin pati yung high seas. The UNCLOS, Mr. President, prohibits us from enclosing the high seas, and international tribunals have nullified boundaries that leapfrog. Hindi po natin sila pwedeng ikonekta. Kaya nga po, why even under Republic Act 12064, the limits of the West Philippine Sea cannot be drawn with precision. Yun po yung sinasabi natin. Hindi po natin magagamit yung mga batas na ginawa natin dahil meron pong problema. At makikita po ninyo yung mga features, for example, yung nandyan po sa loob ng ating West Philippine Sea. Makikita nyo yung mga circles in blue. These are occupied by other nations. Pero doon sa ating memorial na sinabit po sa arbitral tribunal, Mr. President, ang Pilipinas nag-agree na lahat po ng yan ay hindi na natin naaariin. Meaning to say, there will be reduction po yan sa ating West Philippine Sea. Ganun po, kinompromise natin eh. Basahin po natin yung award. So, hindi, ang dami pong nawawala sa West Philippine Sea natin.
Mr. President, if we may, the declaration under PD 1596 that the KIG is part of Philippine territory, PD 1596 and its validity was never put in issue in the arbitration case, and the tribunal did not have any jurisdiction to rule on its validity. In other words, this is outside the issue of the award. And if there are concerns about the validity of PD 1596 and the concerns that there are certain areas outside of what has been declared as our economic zone, although prior to that was declared part of Philippine territory, then let's have legislation, remedial legislation to amend, debate it. If the good senator believes that should be part of Philippine territory and would like to amend PD 1596 or affirm it, then let's debate it on the floor by way of proposed legislation. But in the context of the arbitral ruling, Mr. President, I will again point out that this debate, no matter how lengthy, will not change the ruling, which just in our favor, and therefore we should defend and uphold it. Rather than go into a question of, wait, sandali lamang, kasi yung arbitral ruling na yun, hindi sinama yung ilang mga nasa Kalayaan Island Group. So dapat, wag natin i-recognize yung award na yan. Hindi naman po tayo papayag doon. Hindi po ba?
Hindi po ganun ang punto natin, Mr. President. Kung sakaling tayo po ay may karapatan talaga, at meron naman talaga tayong karapatan sa ating West Philippine Sea, na sa ngayon ay ina-approximate nila na ito na nga yung ating exclusive economic zone, kinakailangan naman nating makita yung hangganan para sa ganon maipagtanggol natin ang lahat ng saganang atin. Nagbabudget tayo, binibigyan natin ang ating Department of National Defense. Ang daming mga features na wala sa ating West Philippine Sea, na wala doon sa ating exclusive economic zone. Wala namang, nandun outliers po siyang ganon. Pagkatapos, sinasabi ng 1596, atin yun, pero sabi ng arbitral tribunal, sabi ng award, sinabi na nga natin, paragraphs 573 to paragraphs 576, neither the Philippines nor China has the right to enclose that part of the Sprat list. Ibig sabihin, ninalipay niya po yun eh. So wala din yun eh. Kinakailangan nating itama lahat. Sangayon din sa UNCLOS na doon naman ay signatory tayo. Ito po yung kanina ko pa gustong ipaliwanag. Walang masama na yung ating saganang atin, pag-aari natin, madetermina natin. Halimbawa, binigyan tayo ng isang pag-aari, isang sukat ng lupa. Sinabi ng ating kaibigan, mula sa bundok na ito hanggang sa bundok na yun, sa iyo yan. Alam po ninyo, pag hindi natin natituluhan yan, nakuha yung kabuuan kung hanggang saan ang ating pag-aari, mahihirapan lang tayo. Kaya po nagkakaroon tayo ng pag-aaway, ngayon lamang po nakikita na natin ang talagang pangangailangan na pag-aralan nating mabuti muna ito. Kesa sasabihin natin, gagawa ng halimbawa ng caricature ang isang Commodore natin na ilalagay niya sa nakakatuwa at pangit na itsura ang leader ng isang bansa, imbes na yun ang gawin niya, siguro kinakailangan muna nating i-determine with precise precision at with coordinates para sa ganon, alam na natin, maiguguhit na natin, hindi lamang sa tayo lang ang nakakaalam ng ating West Philippine Sea, pati po doon sa S-23. Ito po yung international Hydrographics Organization, matatala na yung ating West Philippine Sea. Magkakaroon na po ng coordinates. Kagaya po ng pinakita natin kanina, ng South China Sea is designated by 6.1. Yun po sana yung dapat natin munang gawin.
Mr. President, just before...
With the permission of the two gentlemen, Senator
Before I
Rizal
yield the
Tiveros.
floor, Mr. President, to just
Yes,
very quickly.
yes, Sen.
Mr. President, yung binanggit ni Commodore Tariela, dinepensahan na ng ating Department of National Defense at ng Armed Forces of the Philippines. Tapos ngayon, narito tayo, may Senate resolution, sumasang-ayon at sinasang-ayunan ang posisyon ng Department of National Defense at ang Armed Forces of the Philippines sa mga bitiw na salita ni Commodore Tariela. Eh hindi ba dapat susugan natin at suportahan natin at we rally behind our armed forces, our Department of National Defense, rather than kowtow, not kowtow, but rather than give China the benefit of the doubt as regards their motivations in attacking one of our men in uniform? We have to defend and support the Department of National Defense and the Armed Forces of the Philippines. It's as simple as that, Mr. President.
Yes, with the permission of the two gentlemen. Senator Rizal Tiveros is recognized to interject.
Salamat, Mr. President. Sinusuportahan ko yung kahuling sinabi ni Senator Pangilinan. Dagdag pa po, ilang beses ko na rin po narinig mula sa Ginoo, mula sa Pampanga and Tarlac, yung di umano'y coordinates ng China sa South China Sea o ng 9-dash line. At ipinakita po kanina yung mapa ng International Hydrographic Organization. Sa research po, ang International Hydrographic Organization o IHO is a technical, not a political organization. And its map delineations do not constitute legal recognition of sovereignty such as China's 9-dash line. So ang ipinakita pong mapa kanina ng good gentleman, mapa ng IHO na may mga notation na 6.1, 6. Kung ano-ano pa, hindi po yan coordinates. Mga numero lamang sa mapa. Further po sa research, the 9-dash line representing China's expansive disputed territorial claims in the South China Sea has no official, fixed, or internationally recognized geographic coordinates. Kaya yung sinasabi pong may coordinates na ang China sa South China Sea, pati sa ating West Philippine Sea, na may coordinates sila sa 9-dash line, wala po. That U-shaped dotted line, which covers roughly 90% of the sea, is vaguely defined and can shift across maps. So ngayon pa lang po, i-disabuse na po natin ang ating kaisipan na may coordinates ang China dyan sa napakalawak na claims niya, pati sa ating karagatan. Salamat, Mr.
I'm not
President.
very sure about this, but the discussion on the floor may have some national security implication. So the same concern was expressed by no less than the Senate President. So, yes, Mr. Senate President,
Yes,
you are recognized.
you're right. We are discussing a resolution which expresses the sense of the Senate, supposed to be. The debate that I have been listening to is fine if we're debating on a piece of legislation addressing this, no, but it's not. So I'm worried that we are already trampling over issues of national security, and that is my question, Mr. President. What do you think?
Yes, 1 minute suspension.